Welcome everyone. Yes, making lots of videos this week. Now, by that I mean like four. But anyhow, um I've been wanting to do more videos for the channel, but I'm sorry, I just haven't had the time. It's been crazy on this side of the aisle working on different things. One of them is helping Show. If you don't know who Show is, I would go ahead and suggest that you subscribe to him because he's a dear friend of mine, and he's a tourist guide from Japan. Here he is, Show Me Japan, and I've been kind of like working with him behind the scenes on something like really cool. So please, if you haven't seen his videos, go ahead and check him out because he's really good. He does the recommendations that a true local will do. He's not the usual like, oh, let's just go to the touristy places. He's very street like. But anyway, let's slap Show out of the way real quick. Um, Instead of making a lot of different videos about this, I'm just gonna make one about this specific topic, which is the animes that I've been seeing on this spring season. Now, obviously, there's been like 25,000 animes that came out this spring season, but I'm going to talk about the five main ones that I started watching and kind of my thoughts on them, see if you would like them, see if you wouldn't like them. Just kind of like an overall rant of everything because I've been wanting to do like specific dedicated videos for these, but if I don't do this, I'm just never going to. So let's begin with the very first one, and the one that probably will get me into a lot of trouble, Kaiju number 8. So Kaiju number 8 is the story of Japan that has like a lot of problems with kaijus, and then there's this like group of soldiers that go and beat the living fuck out of the kaijus. And there's one specific guy, his name is Kafka, who who made a promise with his childhood best friend about going and like becoming really good soldiers to kill kaijus. And then shenanigans ensue where we see this whatever shit looking thing uh, pretty much force its way into Kafka's mouth, and therefore now we have a new kaiju, the kaiju number 8. Now, this series had a lot of hype. Been talking to some of my friends, and one in particular said that this was the next Attack on Titan. That this thing could not do any wrong. That is so hype. It's so good. It's so clean. And you know what? This is what I'm gonna say. I enjoy it. It's good. It's got good action, but it has the one problem that completely deterred me from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that is the fact that it did not let simmer some of the more heavy um, aspects. For example, you have a couple of um, moments where they're serious, and the characters should be just serious, but they break it with a little bit of comedy or like the anime like overreaction and everything. And I'm particularly not a super fan of that, but they do it, and it just kind of like lower the intensity of the moment for me. Now in the later episodes, starting like on episode 8 or something, it got really good, and we got introduced to like the full potential of the second in command of the monster elimination core or something. And he's a total badass. He became like one of my favorite characters. And the show like improved, and they weren't doing as much like comedy as everything, and it felt like it finally got a rhythm. But the first 6 episodes, I was just like, okay, all right, I'll watch this just for the watch. But But now it definitely became like, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. For me, even, it is not necessarily a slow burn, but I didn't get hooked immediately. But I can see why people would absolutely dig this thing. Also, this guy is it's not often that you see an anime character that is old as fuck, and he is 32 years old, exactly my same age. You know, so it's like, oh, great, I'm old, great. Anyways, let's go to the next anime that I want to talk about. That is going to be a topic of discussion. Demon Slayer, yay! Everyone's favorite anime with the most not toxic community of all time. So Demon Slayer, the training Hashira arc began, and as per usual, there's a lot of discussion because everyone kept saying like this is going to be the weakest arc. Everyone's going to hate this arc. It's going to be trash. It's going to be ass and everything. It's just like, okay, I get it. I get it. But is that the case for me? Well, let me tell you, I've heard your pleas. I've heard the voice of the anime community talking about this specific arc, and most of them are retarded, very very much so, because they just they judge the they judge the arc based on what was in the manga as opposed to what it's been presented. I know this is not the fast-paced action arc that everyone was kind of expecting. Like, oh, the Hashira training, they're gonna be like doing some massive stuff. But no, it was more like, let me introduce you to the backstories and a little bit of like um, development within the Hashira characters. So we get to see pretty much all of the Hashiras, like backstories and motivations and kind of interactions and the way they train other people. So you get to see more of their personalities. Now, a lot of people I think missed the point of this thing, which was giving us a reason to connect with them a little bit more. So whenever they go to war, at least we know them better instead of just them being figures that are unattainable. Like now we get to know them. We can feel like, oh, I can root for him on a deeper level. For me, this was superior in many ways than the Swordsmith Village arc. Like, without a question, I am enjoying this more than the Swordsmith Village arc. Because I think the Swordsmith Village arc was just poorly paced. I'm not saying that it was bad, but up to this point, it was definitely the season that attracted me the least. And the main problem, in my opinion, was the pacing. Also, the fact that the villains were not like super good. In this arc, we don't have villain up to like the episode before last. We get to see one of the coldest entrants I've ever seen. Oh my god, it was clean. It was really good. It was a fantastic entrance for the villain of this thing. But in all honesty, I've enjoyed this series quite a bit. Well, this season, I've enjoyed it a lot. Plus, the fact that the last season was carried only by Tanjiro was just like, are you for real? Like, are you for real? Because my least favorite character in Demon Slayer is Tanjiro. I hate his guts. A little goody goody two shoes Captain America. I'm not saying that he's a bad shonen protagonist or anything. I'm just saying that I just don't particularly like him. Like that's it. I like his personality and everything. I don't like him. I like Inosuke a lot. I like Zenitsu a lot, and I like everyone else like way better than I like Tanjiro. So the fact that it was just like Tanjiro and doing the Tanjiro thing was just like, can we move on? Can we have like someone with more flavor to them, you know? Like Genya was good. I like Genya. But anyhow, the point is I really enjoyed this arc. I'm very happy with it. I am kind of pissed at the fact that they're going to do 3 movies to complete the series instead of making more just episodic things, but fuck it, you know? Uh they're going to milk this franchise to the ground, I can tell you that much. Anyhow, let's move on to the next anime of this season that was kind of a surprise in a way for me that I didn't know what to expect, but I'm very happy that I went in blindfolded. This is Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. This is not one that you are going to find in Crunchyroll. You're going to find this one on High Dive. And this is easily one of my favorite animes of the season. Jellyfish Can Swim in the Night is the story of this new kind of like anime meta going on of cute anime girls doing cute band things. We have K-On, Bocce the Rock, and now Can Swim in the Night, and we have other like girl band animes that are coming out. It's becoming kind of like its own little niche of people. So here we have this 4 oddities of girls who are going to come together to form a band. But you have usually when it comes to anime band characters doing anime band things, usually you have the girls that are just there for the fun, and it's just to see them in like these awkward situations and funny situations like Bocce the Rock, and sometimes it's just about like the music and the slice of life aspect like K-On. But you know here you have a kind of like a middle ground in a way, because you don't have a lot of like you have character development, you have drama, but you also have comedy, and you also have like this sort of like development, and the music is not trash. It's good. It's the music that they do is good. I wouldn't say it's like to the level of like Bocce or K-On, but it's good. It's good. I do appreciate the fact that they did put some effort into the songs. Um, so the main takeaway from this series is to see the development of the characters. Like every single character in this series has their own internal struggles that they want to form. And honestly, it's good to see them use like music as a conduit to solve these inner problems. You have the always online girl, you have the obsessed girl, you have the other that has a shady past, and you have the positive one, you know? It's good. It's good. It's a good combination of different personalities that will make you feel like, you know what? I can relate to one or two of them. And that's kind of what the series is. I mean, is it going to make you shed a tear? Maybe. I can see some people like shedding a tear to this series because it does have some heartbreaking moments. I didn't particularly shed a tear, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun watch, and I'm glad that High Dive is producing some original animes that clearly are hitting the mark. You know, I think High Dive is is a good place to find. I don't want to say like more artsy anime, but definitely ones with a very distinct, different flavor to them. And this is one of them. I'm really happy, really happy that I got to see this one. Very very high dive with the color palette and everything. So so yeah, if I were to say something, watch it. All right, let's go to the next anime. The one that I was the most excited about, and let's talk about it. This one you're not gonna find on Crunchyroll either. You're gonna find it on Hulu. Go Go Loser Ranger. Now, what this series promised to be, and this is why I was so goddamn excited for it, it was that we were going to have kind of like the boys version of the Power Rangers. We were gonna have the Power Rangers being complete assholes and murderers that would just cause havoc to keep on the facade that they're good people. And then we were going to have one of the bad guys, one of the soldiers, rebel and try to take them down from the inside. The premise is great, and the best way I can describe this anime without giving too much spoilers is that I've never seen a series being so close to reaching the lighting in a bottle effect so many times and never doing it. So they're very close on like capturing something so amazing. They have different moments throughout the entire series where you're like, so this is where the series is going to go. This is so original. I cannot wait to see what happens. Oh, I guess we're not gonna do that anymore. Oh, we're gonna do this. Oh, this is going great. Okay, okay, okay. Oh, this is where it's going to go now. Okay, we're not doing that anymore. Okay, okay, okay. So it's about this now. Okay, okay, okay. So, oh, okay, I get it now. This is where it's going to. I guess we're not doing that anymore. So it comes so close to being so amazing at so many points during the series, but it just never gets there. It's like it graces the door of greatness, but never knocks on it. And it's so frustrating. I like the series, but my main problem with the series is that I have not been able to root for anyone yet. That's my main problem. I haven't been able to root for anyone because the series hasn't given me a reason to root for any. It tells me who I should be rooting for, but it doesn't show me why. So I feel like this series is lacking a little bit on the backstory of some characters, or motivations are not as clear. It is a fantastic premise, but I feel like the execution is not as good as it could have been. And honestly, it's a good series. Like, it's a good series despite all the shortcomings. It's a good series. I'm enjoying watching it, but I'm not watching it as excited as I was initially because it's lacking on some stuff. Like again, I cannot say it enough how close this thing was or is to being so original and great and just like one of like the best animes of the year even. It comes so close, but it just fails on the execution. But instead of like being one series that just fails in execution and is just bad, it just fails on the execution to be amazing and just goes back to being good. But it is not as cohesive. It's good. I don't regret watching it as of right now, and you know where I stand on my likings of anime. But I cannot buy a figure for this thing. I wish I could. I want to, but I just can't because there's no one that I can actually root for. um, because the series hasn't given proper development to many things, and some of the things that it kind of promised on giving are just kind of left out, and it is it is a little frustrating, to be honest with you. But oh well, hopefully second season or like further in the stories will be better. But um I think my expectations for this thing were very high. Maybe that's the problem. My expectations were too high for this thing. Now, the last series that I want to talk about, is the one where my expectations were not as high, but they were still high. Known as the Tokyo Revengers, but good, we have Windbreaker. Windbreaker is the story of Sakura, a kind of young delinquent that joins a school on the outside of the city to just beat the living shit out of everyone and become the king of the high school, because apparently in that high school, that's all everyone does. It's like in Mexico, you just go and beat the shit out of everyone, and lots of street fights and everything. So the moment I heard like this was going to be like a Tokyo Revengers but good, it made me very excited because I was a fan of Tokyo Revengers season one, of everything except for the protagonist, fucking Takebichi. I hate him with a passion. And season two was not super good either. So the thing that kept me going with Tokyo Revengers was Mikey and Draken. And now with Windbreaker, I was like, well, maybe they're still gonna have a Mikey and a Draken, but hopefully the protagonist is going to be better. Especially because the character design for the main character, Sakura, it's interesting. Like he's got like this half black, half white hair going. His eyes are different color too. I was like, okay, his character design is interesting, and he doesn't look like a bitch. So maybe this is going to be different and good and refreshing. And to my surprise, let me say, holy fuck, it was. The first time I saw this series, I was very surprised at what the series actually presented. Because very, very quick, I realized that this is nothing like Tokyo Revengers. Nothing. This is nothing like Tokyo Revengers. Do they share the fact that they have like school gangs and shit? Yes, that's about it. Tokyo Revengers has a way better premise, talking about like going back and forth in time and like the intricacies and levels of like gangs and stuff. Windbreaker is way more simple. You have a guy that wants to become the leader of a delinquent high school just because he wants to prove himself he's the strongest one. That's it. But as one fails on the execution, the other one excels on just showing what the series is about. And let me tell you, I couldn't be happier with Windbreaker. I think this has been my biggest surprise of the season, because I was expecting, like I said, a Tokyo Revengers style school gangs, but that is not the case. You get to see more of the development of the characters and their backstories. Like you have a lot of little delinquents beating the crap out of each other. Why? That's the question that no one asks ever. Why are they doing it? And seeing the motivations for Sakura to want to do this, and then to see him just like, it is interesting. So I'm not going to try to dive into a lot of spoilers with this one, but the series is so small in comparison to like, I'm going to use just Tokyo Revengers for like as an example, but Tokyo Revengers takes place in like Tokyo or something. and you get the scale that the city is big and the story is big. Here it's confined to like a tiny little town and then a tiny little like place. And most of the story takes place in that like tiny ass place. That's it. And it's great because you don't feel like you're watching the story of Sakura, the main character. You feel like you're actually part of the school gang. They make you feel like you're part of the group because the level of attention to every character, it's pretty equal for the most part. So it's very enjoyable to just feel part of them and to see what's going on with them because it's such an intimate story. We're not talking about like freaking Avengers level, like cosmic. No, this is like barely anything that is going to affect society in any way. And that's what's beautiful about it. And seeing seeing the growth of Sakura and other characters throughout the series makes this like a very surprising and refreshing hit for me. This is easily one of my favorite animes of the year. As to Jellyfish Consuming the Night is my favorite, if not my second favorite anime of the season. This can easily be one of my favorites of the year. Uh, Now, the story is good. I love the art style. I love what they're doing with it. And one of the things that I was not expecting this thing to be is so clean when it comes to fighting. The fight scenes in this freaking anime are so good. Not because you have like astronomical powers or you have like nunchucks going forward and like demon slayer type of like breathing techniques and flying through the air. No, most of the fights happen in possibly the size of this room. That's it. That's where the fights happen, and they're so clean. There's this character, this one who's my favorite actually. He clearly knows kung fu. And instead of being like so over the top, the guy comes to him just like so clean in his movements to just use like tai chi and just like use the energy of the opponent against himself. It was like, oh my god, short movements. You see a punch and it's just the extension. It's not like a super yeah. It's just papa. Like it's good. The animation is very realistic when it comes to the fights, and I couldn't be happier. I didn't know if I was going to like this series as much as I did, but the moment I saw the fighting, I was like, okay, I'm hooked with this. It took a little while for me to like catch on onto what the series actually wants to convey, because it's not necessarily it's like Attack on Titan, right? You have the story of Eren, here you have the story of Sakura, but those stories are just part of the entire message of the series. Sometimes the message of the series is conveyed through their protagonist, sometimes the protagonist is a conduit to the message of the series. Here, just like the way in Attack on Titan, the protagonist is a conduit for the message of the story of the series, the same way Eren was for Attack on Titan. I'm not saying that this thing is as good as Attack on Titan, no way, shape, or form, but it's very good regardless. And the messaging of this series, it's really good. And there was one particular phrase that this character says. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Him, who's the leader of the school Sakura wants to take over. He gives a little speech, and in that speech he gives a phrase that I just had to pause and be like, dude, that was so very well written. That is, this is a guy I would follow. Like he's on his shit. He's on his shit. Good for him. So So yes, this is a very good series. I'm really liking it. I cannot wait to buy a figure from this, and I'm watching this on Spanish dub. And for what I've heard, even the English dub and everything is really good. The Spanish dub for Latin America is on point, like really, really on point. I'm so happy with it. Um, so I don't know about the English dub, but as far as the Spanish dub goes, 10 out of 10. So, anyways, whew, been talking about this for 30 minutes straight. So great. Hopefully you're not bored. If you are, don't care. But let me know if you've watched this series, what you think of this series, and what are you excited about for the next season. That's it. Bye.